Welcome back to The Second Perspective. Professor Jordan Peterson sat down with re-elected Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for one very long interview, but there's a critical segment not uploaded on this YouTube page, a segment hidden behind the Daily Wire paywall. Listen now to Netanyahu as he boasts about persuading Albert Bourla into using Israel as Pfizer's lab.
We came out of COVID first. I described that in my book, my conversations with Albert Bourla of Pfizer, and I persuaded him to give tiny Israel the necessary vaccines to get us out first from the COVID. And the reason I could do that is because we have a database, 98%, a medical database, 98% of our population has digitized medical records and little card. And anywhere you go in any hospital in Israel, north, south, doesn't make any difference. Boom, you punch it in and you know everything about this patient for the last 20 years. I said, we'll use that to tell you whether these vaccines, what do they do to people, not individual people, not with their individual identities, but statistically, what does it do to people with, meningitis? What does it do to people with high blood pressure? What is it? You want to know that. So Israel became, if you will, the lab for Pfizer.
And yet, when an Israeli reporter asked the head of public health services, here is what she had to say.
אז קודם כל, אנחנו לא שבויים של אף אחד, ובשום שלב אין שום הסכם של בלעדיות עם פייזר.
Since one of them is clearly lying, we must prepare you for the third perspective.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Early in the pandemic, we'd established a relationship with the Israeli Ministry of Health where they used exclusively the Pfizer vaccine and they monitored very closely. So we had sort of a laboratory where we could see the effect. So it's been a way that we can almost look ahead. What we see happening in Israel happens again in the U.S. a couple months later.
Israel has become the world's lab right now because they're using only our vaccine at this stage.
Now, in case you're wondering why this is a big deal, have a look at the International Guideline for Clinical Research. It requires the informed consent discussion to include explanations of alternative procedures. However, by giving Pfizer a monopoly over the nation, Netanyahu and the public health services deprived the public of alternatives like AstraZeneca, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and Sinopharm. In doing so, they compromised the public's informed consent. The tragic irony is that the international guideline was established as a result of what historically happened to this population. Sadly, we now find their human rights violated once more, but this time by one of their own. One who they just re-elected. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe and visit our channel for more videos on The Second Perspective.